Hello and thank you for joining us on the news today from CBATV, the voice of East Africa and beyond, here in Hargeisa, the capital of Somaliland. My name is Ajarah Matijani. First, the headline. Somaliland cabinet ministers discuss the upcoming elections. Voice identification launched as local, national and international NGOs call for partnership. Biden signs orders to end travel ban on countries including Somalia. Chinese firm win $1 billion Tanzania rail award amid global bids. Africa's confirmed COVID-19 cases passed 3.31 million, says Africa CDC. Now the news in full. Somaliland cabinet ministers have held a meeting on Thursday on the upcoming parliamentary and local council elections. The meeting, which was chaired by the president, emphasized the need for election to hold on a scheduled day by the Electoral Commission.
On Thursday, Somaliland cabinet ministers held a meeting for the upcoming parliamentary and local council elections. The president of Somaliland, Musa Bihi, along with his vice president Abdurrahman Saileh, chaired the meeting, which the major agenda was to accelerate the election process in the country. The cabinet proposed to the House of Elders to comply with the decision on election day with a date set by the Electoral Commission on 31st in this year. The cabinet also advised the national political parties to jointly implement the electoral laws, especially the requirements of the candidates. The aspiring candidates were also advised to submit recommendations indicating their compliance with the electoral law, as well as the Electoral Commission to comply with the requirements of the electoral laws. The council urged the local media to take their social responsibility part and introduce a public awareness programs as the country is gearing up for the upcoming elections. Somaliland cabinet ministers have asked the security agencies to intensify security of the country during the electoral process.
And from the ongoing trade fair in Boro, the second day of Somaliland's ninth annual trade fair is currently going on in Boro, the second populous city in the country, as many companies have participated to play a key role at the ceremony. Dar es Salaam Bank is among them, and CBATV spoke to the manager for their motivation this year.
The Somaliland Trade Fair entered its second day today and is just as people-packed as yesterday, if not more. Industry giants and small businesses alike have had people from all over Boro gathered at their respective tents. Some of the businesses CBATV had a chance to talk with today include the Dahabshil Group, Dar es Salaam Bank, telecom giants Telesom, and the FMCG Group LAS.
As we have been doing past 9 years, we prepared well and we did a lot of marketing. We are prepared for big discount, up to 50% of our products. And we also this year focused on the corporate companies for new products specific to them, for their business and for the employees of those corporate companies.
The LAS FMCG Group is one of the country's biggest conglomerates who deal in everything from beverages, freight and media. The group is a family business that is quite special and prides itself in being in touch with Somali culture and community. From brand names for its products to the marketing strategies it uses.
We are in Boro and we have been in Boro for the last 4 years. So the consumers and the customers of Boro are welcoming for this. The number of sales and the volume of Boro is increasing year after year. This shows us that people are very interested for the products of this dairies, whether the low fat and the full fat, miran, and the TBA, which is VAD's flavored milk products, chocolate, banana, strawberry, and full cream. So all people are very happy that this is in Boro and people are enjoying for products.
Its catchy slogan for the trade fair, "Lease is going to Bro and so am I," has had people flocking to its section to purchase products. And the telecommunication giants Telesom were not to be left behind. At their stall, they were giving out new SIM cards with the new and unique 44 numbers. This had the masses lined up for hours to gain access to them.
anigoo u hadlaya shirkadda Telesom waxaan ku soo bandhigaynaa adeegyo cusub oo aanu imika daahfurnay iyo macaamiisha oo aanu siin doono adeegyo nasiibka ay ku helayaan.
Dar es Salaam Bank, which is a subsidiary of telecom company Telesom, prides itself in offering microfinancial services to its prospective and small business owners. This year, the bank is here to carry out rigorous promotion activities.
marka aad iyo aad baa mahadsantihiin reer Burco soo dhawaada ofarka ka faa'iideysta akawnadii waa idin diyaar laptopadi waa idin diyaar ganacsiyada waaweyn financing iyo ganacsiyada dhexe inta waa idin diyaar soo dhawaada.
A call has gone to all NGOs across board, both locally and internationally, to support a special impact-driven humanitarian program called Voice Identification, which was launched today at Ambassador Hotel, Hargeisa, Somaliland, by Telesom Company. The launching of voice identification technology for humanitarian programs witnessed an impressive participation of many local and international NGOs, including CARE International. Giving opening remarks, the Director General of the Ministry of Labour, Social Affairs and Family, Abdul Rashid Sheikh Abdurrahman, said he is very happy with the program, adding that they will work with the ministry on the program. Explaining on how it works, Ali Brusser, Head of Business Development, Telesom, stressed the importance of the voice ID with a view that it is the best in securing way of sending aid to those in need of humanitarian services.
Today we are launching the voice biometric using in humanitarian projects in collaboration with the CARE International and GSMA. And this event is meant to tell everyone that voice biometric is possible in Somaliland for the humanitarian projects, and Telesom is the first company to provide such kind of a technology, and that is very advanced and without needing special devices for the remote areas.
He also called on local, national and international NGOs to work with Telesom in promoting voice identification program, which is said will better the lives of many.
The pilot project was done with CARE International for 1 year, and the results were amazing and successful. So the reason why we're doing the launching today is that we want to tell other organizations that it's possible for them as well to use the voice biometrics, same as CARE did for their humanitarian projects, and there has been a lot of benefits coming out from this project. For other NGOs, they can use the voice biometric in humanitarian projects in different fields. There will be time saving, there will be resource saving, there will be a lot of benefits coming out from this. And as CARE mentioned in this event, this is one of the reasons why we launched this event. My message to other NGOs is that voice biometric is the best solution for humanitarian projects, as you don't need to carry on many different devices, and also easily verify the beneficiary and do the payment instantly after verification. There will be time saving for many NGOs, and also we want to enhance this technology and to take it to the next level with the support of all NGOs that are working in this field, so that we can reduce the time it takes to enroll beneficiaries. So once we enroll a beneficiary, and other NGOs can use that voice biometric for their other projects. So the person can be only enrolled once in all Somaliland area. And I think the same happens with different NGOs. They might be supporting same beneficiary in similar place. So with the voice ID, if we work together, we can do the enrollment once, and this can be benefit for everyone.
Hamza Koshi, male specialist of CARE International, enlightened the participants on the effective use of the service. He elaborated more on the challenges and their possible take-home when enrolling beneficiaries in their respective areas.
The reason why we have actually came up with this innovative idea was actually some inherent challenge that we used to have after we do the cash transfers. Normally when we transfer cash to the beneficiaries, we used to collect meet with the beneficiaries so that they can confirm the receipt of their entitlements by putting their thumbprints on papers. So it used to cost us, and we spent like 2 or more weeks to complete these kind of transfers. Sometimes there has been some errors in the thumbprints, and we end up like that. We missed to collect the thumbprints for some beneficiaries. And then the issue of accountability comes into play, where we have challenged to match the thumbprints we have collected with the names of the people in the beneficiary. So this was actually the key challenge that we used to have, and with this technology we were really able to solve all these problems. And now that travel to the field is not there, we are not sending any teams to the field to do the payment verification. The time has saved, and actually we do prepare the second installment just after we do the first installment. So we save time, we save costs, and it's actually something that's user-friendly even for the beneficiaries. We call for all the organizations working cash transfer to join us and utilize this technology. It's really help them to do proper verification, identification, and it will really promote the accountability and concept that we usually advocate for. So I call all the NGOs to join us. This system is actually a system that was developed for care initially, but it is for all. So please join us and utilize this technology.
Mustafa Almi, the program coordinator of Transparency Solutions, explained in details the outcomes of their survey on voice identification technology.
We were the evaluation partner for this exercise on voice ID partnership between GSMA, Care International and Telesom in Somaliland. In fact, we were focusing to evaluate and follow up how the system, how the beneficiaries were adapting to the new system with regard to the accessibility, to the registration, and to the getting for their benefit amount of money. So on that basis, what we have obtained was a very, very overwhelming results from the different beneficiaries that were living at different locations within different regions in the eastern regions of Somaliland. About 90% of the beneficiaries were saying that they were very happy with regard to the getting access to their amount of allocation with the adaptation wise, where 85% were very positive. So people demonstrated that they were very positive in regards the registration, regards and the accessibility of the money.
Other NGOs who granted interview with CBATV spoke on how the program would be of great help to them, as there was an interactive session.
I'm very glad to be part of this launch, and I feel it's going to be very beneficial. It's going to save us a lot of resources and a lot of transportation costs that we kind of try to minimize. So I feel this is going to be very beneficial and very helpful in cutting down a lot of costs. So I'm really willing to see this in practicality to be used for our beneficiaries, and hopefully this is going to be expanding to more regions and more parts of Somalia or Somaliland.
This is really very interesting, and I would like to thank here for CARE, the other stakeholders like Telesom, GSZ, who also participated in this event. This is really a learning sessions, and we have learned a lot, especially for this will also reduce the verification process of our beneficiaries whom we are serving for the last couple of years. Now we are confident that this will also be deployed into other villages and districts in Somaliland. And this also will avoid the duplications and also dignify the beneficiaries, and also reducing the travel costs for our beneficiaries.
High point of the launching was the demo session for registration and verification exercise for participants.
furahayga Telesom waa codkayga.
codka labaad fadlan waxaad tidhaahdaa furahayga Telesom waa codkayga kadibna fiix calaamada fargeesid.
furahayga Telesom waa codkayga.
codka saddexaad fadlan waxaad tidhaahdaa furahayga Telesom waa codkayga kadibna fiix calaamada fargeesid.
furahayga Telesom waa codkayga.
The new president of the United States of America has signed a new order to end travel bans on Muslim countries, including the Federal Republic of Somalia. This decision comes just hours into his presidency.
Work immediately. As we've indicated earlier, we're going to be signing a number of executive orders over the next several days to week.
The United States President Joe Biden has signed a string of executive orders, memorandums and directives that will reverse some of his predecessor, Donald Trump's most divisive policies, including rescinding the so-called Muslim ban, which affected by many countries, including Somalia. Just hours after his inauguration at the U.S. Capitol on Wednesday, Biden signed 15 executive actions that his team earlier said aimed to reverse the gravest damages of the Trump administration.
Some of the things we're going to be doing are going to be bold and vital, and there's no time to start like today. So what I'm going to be doing, I'm so proud of today's executive actions. I'm going to start by keeping the promises I made to the American people.
Biden told reporters in the Oval Office that there was no time to waste. The ban was changed several times amid legal challenges and ultimately upheld by the U.S. Supreme Court in 2018. The Council on American Islamic Relations welcomed the decision as an important first step toward undoing the anti-Muslim and anti-immigrant policies of the previous administration. Many Somali communities have already welcomed the move and described it as a step forward into multilateralism.
The East African nation of Tanzania has signed a contract with two Chinese firms for the design and construction of a 341-kilometer single-track electrified standard gauge railway line in the country. The $1.32 billion contract has been awarded to China Civil Engineering Construction Corporation and China Railway Construction Corporation after they edged out 18 international bidders for the tender advertised by Tanzania Railway Corporation in August 2020. The contract was signed on January 8 by Tanzania's Foreign Affairs Minister Palamagamba Kabudi and his Chinese counterpart Yuan Yi. The railway line will be constructed over a 36-month period, although no start date has been confirmed yet. Tanzania Railway Corporation Managing Director Masanja Kadogosa stated that the new contract is a continuation of the ongoing construction of a modern railway for which a tender was advertised and more than 18 international companies submitted bids. The Wanza-Isaka line will consist of continuously welded rail on an alignment adjacent to the existing line 15 meters away. Passenger and freight train speeds on the line have been designed for 160 km per hour and 120 km per hour respectively. The trains plying the new railway line with an axle of 35 tons will be 2,000 meters long and are expected to carry 1.1 million passengers annually. The Mwanza to Isaka railway section is Lot 5 of the new 1,596 kilometer SGR that Tanzania is constructing to ease freight movements between the Indian Ocean port of Dar es Salaam to Rwanda, Burundi and Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. These countries will be linked by road to Isaka, where new railway line will terminate for now. Contract for Lot 1, Dar es Salaam, Morogoro, 300 km and Lot 2, Morogoro, Makutupora, 422 km had been awarded to Turkish construction firm Yapi Merkezi Isat VE Sanayi AS in 2017 and 2019 respectively, and construction is ongoing. However, Tanzania is yet to advertise tender for Lot 3, Makutupora, Tabora, 371 km and Tabora Isaka 162 km of the railway line. Tanzania will finance the Mwanza Isaka line after the Ministry of Finance in June this year allocated $897 million. Additional financing from the government is expected in the next financial year. Moreover, Tanzania, with $200 million in World Bank financing, is rehabilitating and upgrading sections of the 2,560 km line under the Tanzania Intermodal and Rail Project. The meter gauge line, just like the SGR, originates at the port of Dar es Salaam and terminates at Isaka with a road link to Rwanda, Burundi and Democratic Republic of Congo. In a separate African move by foreign investors in the clean energy sector, Italian renewables developers Enel Green Power signed an agreement with Qatar Investment Authority QIA to jointly finance, build and operate projects in South Africa and Zambia. The African Union has agreed to partner with Mozambique in curbing a surge in armed violence attributed to extremist Islamic groups in Cabo Delgado province. The EU cooperation with Mozambique is seen as a key element in bolstering security levels in the coastal province.
Last year, the jihadist group known locally as Al-Shabaab, which has sworn allegiance to Islamic State but has no known links with the groups of the same operating name in Somalia, attacked 4 towns including the port of Mokimbo, the Praia, which has been occupied since August. The fighting in the north of the country has already claimed 2,400 lives and forced 570,000 people to flee their homes, according to the government. More than half of those killed were civilians, says the non-profit organization ACLED, which tracks data relating to armed conflicts. Meanwhile, Mozambique's President Filipe Nyusi has replaced army's top generals after intensifying jihadist attacks threatened a major natural gas plant in the country's north. While the presidency did not give the reasons for the military reshuffle, it may have been prompted by the newly attacks by an Islamist group in the northern Cabo Delgado province, since the site of the 20 billion construction project led by the French energy giant Total. Slated to come online in 2024, the liquid natural gas plant is the centerpiece of the government's dream to reap riches from Mozambique's offshore energy fields. Early this month, Total said it had evacuated some of the Total said it had evacuated some of the 3,000 staff there after military sources said that the jihadist group raided 4 locations just kilometers away in December, and the gun battle had erupted on the site itself. In a statement, Nyusi's office said Ngondo Musa had replaced Lazaro Menete as chief of the general staff and also named a new deputy chief. Nevertheless, he suggested that what the military seems to need the most is resources, questioning whether moving Musa away from the front line would help beat back the jihadists. Meanwhile, Nigeria has trailed a meeting next week of the Southern African Development Community, bloc on security in Mozambique and a wider region.
To West Africa, security forces in Mali dispersed a protest in Bamako on Wednesday as they fired tear gas at dozens of protesters during an unauthorized march against the French military's rule in the country. Earlier, Bamako City Hall had banned the protest against the French military, citing COVID-19 restrictions. Protesters on motorbikes convoy managed their way through police roadblocks. The protesters, who were in a central square of the Malian capital, fled before the canisters were fired. Mali has been struggling to defeat jihadist insurgents which first emerged in north of the country in 2012 before spreading to the center and neighboring Burkina Faso and Niger. France, its former colonizer, intervened in 2013 to help drive out the jihadist forces advancing on Bamako. Currently, it has 5,100 troops deployed across Africa's Sahel region as part of its anti-jihadist force Barkhane, but some are disturbed by their continuous presence. France's strategy is to divide in order to reign, and it is this strategy that is being applied, and we have understood who it wants to divide, the people and their leaders, whereas we want national unity. So as we have understood this strategy, we are not going to lend our flank so that today there will be repression. Earlier this month, 20 people were killed in the strike by a helicopter. Eyewitnesses claim the victims were guests attending a wedding ceremony, but France military insisted that it has struck jihadists, ruling out any possibility of a mistake. The French military's role in the country have often faced criticisms on social media and by civic leaders. As the slow pace of work at the Tinkan end of the port access road continues, hundreds of heavy-duty trucks have remained stuck on roads in Nigeria's economic capital, Lagos.
As the slow pace of work at the Tinkan end of Port Access Road continues, hundreds of heavy-duty trucks have remained stuck on roads in Nigeria's economic capital, Lagos.
Today making it 1 month and 2 weeks, 3 days that I've been in this hold up. Still yet I've not loaded. I've not dropped my empty, no money to feed, nothing. In fact, we are tired of this hold up. We are not sleeping because once we sleep, they will steal our battery or our spare tire, draw our gas. They can lose anything in the motor, all those boys, bad boys.
a long-running crisis at the Apapa and Tinkan Island ports has been worsened by the pandemic-induced economic slump. Around the world, the coronavirus pandemic has strained international supply chains and threatened to disrupt trade. The nation's import and export dealing has also been affected as prevailing congestions at port caused by a spike in shipping costs for Nigeria-bound goods by about 600%. The situation has thrown port operators at Tinkan and Apapa ports into a state of confusion as containers are stranded at the terminals while vessels are delayed unnecessarily on the water due to limited stacking space.
Man-work hour is reduced. It takes, where a journey would take normally like 30 minutes, you now end up taking like 6 hours. And that's a huge cost for the personnel and for our own members.
In order to beat the congestion, which is almost crippling operations at Tinkan, some shipping lines have diverted Nigeria-bound cargoes to neighboring ports in Cotonou and Côte d'Ivoire. Meanwhile, a new container terminal has been opened in response to ongoing congestion in major ports. Sifax Group established the facility on 11 acres of land along the Ebute Metta Creek, Ijora, Lagos. The terminal is designed to offer a more efficient alternative to using the city's port, which has been troubled by long-time congestion that has worsened throughout year 2020.
If the cost of delivery of some of these items continues to increase, the companies, as far as possible, will have to transfer the cost to their consumers. And that means an increase in prices. So it also has an inflationary implication. It has effect on the welfare of the people.
The roads around the ports also have high levels of traffic, while the road network around the new terminal is expected to deliver faster and efficient cargo clearing. Kamel Sadiq, CBATV, Nigeria.
The world's biggest shipping company demanded a more effective military response to surging pirate attacks and record kidnapping off the coast of West Africa.
The number of attacks on vessels globally jumped 20% last year to 195, with 135 crew kidnapped. The International Maritime Bureau's piracy reporting center said in January 13th report, the Gulf of Guinea accounted for 95% of hostages taken in 22 separate instances, and all 3 hijackings that occurred, the agency said. The attacks have pushed up insurance and other costs for shippers operating off West Africa, with some resulting to hiring escort vessels manned by armed and Navy patrol. AP Moller Maersk, which transports about 15% of globe's seaborne freight, said decisive action needs to be taken. It is unacceptable that in this day and age that seafarers cannot perform their jobs of ensuring a vital support chain for this region without having to worry about the risk of piracy, said Alas Cross, head of Marine Standards and Copenhagen-based Maersk. The risk has reached a level where effective military capacity needs to be deployed. The Gulf of Guinea encompasses a vast tract of Atlantic Ocean that's transferred by more than 20,000 vessels a year, making it difficult for under-resourced governments to police fringed by an almost 4,000-mile-long shoreline that stretches from Senegal to Angola. It serves as a main thoroughfare for crude oil exports and imports of refined fuel and other goods.
On COVID-19, South Africa will pay $5.25 per dose for COVID-19 vaccines from the Serum Institute of India, well above what others, including developed nations, are paying for the same shot, a local newspaper reported.
South Africa will pay $5.25 per dose for COVID-19 vaccines from Serum Institute of India, well above the others, including developed nations, are paying for the same shots, local newspaper reported on Thursday. The report cited Health Department Deputy Director General Anban Pillay as saying the price was based on South Africa's level of development and its past investment in research and development. We are advised that SII has applied a tiered pricing system, and given that South Africa is upper middle income country, their price is $5.25. The explanation we were given for why other income countries have a lower price is that they have invested in the research and development, hence the discount on the price. The SII, which business they say that did not respond to requests from government, is one of several manufacturers licensed by AstraZeneca to make its COVID-19 vaccine. South Africa is due to procure 1.5 million of the shots from the institute.
Zimbabwe's Foreign Minister Sibusiso Moyo is one of the latest senior government officials to have died of COVID-19 complications.
Zimbabwe's Foreign Minister Sibusiso Moyo is one of the latest senior government officials to have died of COVID-19 complications. The minister died at a local hospital last night after a long-fought battle with a virus that has killed over 2 million people worldwide. Mr. Moyo is the second senior government figure to die from COVID-19 in Zimbabwe. Retired General and Agriculture Minister Perant Shiri succumbed to the illness last July. Born in 1960, the former Army General gained international prominence in 2017 when he announced the military takeover that ousted long-serving President Robert Mugabe from power. Zimbabwe has recorded a surge in COVID-19 cases since the Christmas and New Year celebrations. There have been 28,675 cases and 825 deaths since the virus was detected in the country last March. The rise in infections has been blamed on people traveling from South Africa during the festive season. South Africa has seen a spike in cases after a new fast-spreading variant of the virus was detected in the country in November 2020. South Africa has recorded the highest number of cases in Africa, having recorded more than 1.3 million cases and more than 38,000 fatalities. Meanwhile, the president of Zimbabwe, Mr. Emmerson Mnangagwa, has described the late minister as a friend and a true hero. The president said further that the minister fought his entire life so that Zimbabwe could be free. Kamil Sadiq, CBATV.
With that, we've come to the end of the news from CBATV, the voice of East Africa and beyond. My name is Anjara Ahmed Tijani. Bye for now.